One of Russell Wilson's longtime teammates just gave Russ his unwavering support. So the Russell Wilson comeback tour officially starts this Sunday against the Las Vegas Raiders. Last season, after the Denver Broncos gave up the farm for Russ returned them with the worst season of his career. Of course, we all understand that there were many factors surrounding Russell Wilson that contributed to his poor play, but at the end of the day, Russell Wilson was also a strong contributor to his poor play. With Sean Payton coming in here and implementing a revamped offensive scheme, the expectation is that Russell Wilson will bounce back this year and he'll look a lot closer to the 9-time Pro Bowl quarterback that the Denver Broncos traded for. Frank Clark, who was with Russell Wilson during some of his best years in Seattle, strongly believes that Russell Wilson is still the same player that he saw all those years in the Pacific Northwest, and that Russ can absolutely bounce back this year, and that just because he had one bad year doesn't mean that Russell Wilson is washed up as a player. Now, this information here is coming courtesy of an article from ESPN's Jeff Legwold. He's still dangerous. Don't get it twisted at the end of the day, said Frank Clark, who played with Russell Wilson on the Seahawks from 2015 to 2018. Russ is a veteran who won on multiple levels. He's been part of successful teams and he's been part of teams that were not successful, but it was the same Russ. So don't think Russ has changed or a bad season is going to shake the guy. Nah, bro, you start fresh every year. And Russell Wilson said that himself. If we come up here in the quote ahead of that, it said Russ himself said, "Last year is last year, but it wasn't anything I ever wanted in terms of expectations and how I expect to play. You take the good with the bad, the mountains with the valleys." Russ says that he's just ready to play football. And I'm ready to see Russell Wilson play real football in this Sean Payton offense that's not being held back by the vanilla-ness of the preseason. I want Russell Wilson to showcase what he's really going to do in this Sean Payton offense this year. It was heavily hinted at during training camp in the preseason that the Broncos are going to work the quick game with Russell Wilson, but at the same time, they're also going to get him on the move, get him outside the pocket, and get him in position to launch those moon balls downfield that he's always done throughout his best years in Seattle. Frank Clark knows this, and he still believes in Russell Wilson. That's very clear. Otherwise, Frank Clark would not have chosen the Denver Broncos. It's well documented that Frank Clark had other suitors, but at the end of the day, he chose to stay in the AFC West after spending the last several years with the Kansas City Chiefs, and he chose to reunite with his former quarterback for a reason. I really hope that Frank Clark is going to be proven right here, and I really hope that the rest of Broncos country is going to get vindicated by Russell Wilson's play. I don't know if we're ever going to see the same Russell Wilson that threw for over 40 touchdowns in Seattle. I think a more realistic stat line for Russell Wilson this year would be 3,500 yards, 25 passing touchdowns, and I'll just go 8 interceptions. If Russell Wilson puts up that kind of stat line throughout the course of this season, the Denver Broncos can absolutely win many football games, and they can finally be in a position to snap their 7-season streak of missing the playoffs. All right, Broncos country, what do you feel like a realistic stat line for Russell Wilson is this year? And do you feel like he can be dangerous Russ again? Drop those comments down below, guys. I would love to hear your thoughts as always. Be sure to leave a like on this video as well as subscribe and ring the bell so these videos appear in your notification feed. I would really appreciate it, guys. Those are 2 free and easy ways to show your support, helps tell YouTube's algorithm to push us out, and helps us get seen by more and more members of Broncos country just like you and me. And until next time, guys, this has been another episode of Denver Broncos Syndicate. I am your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.